Aloha and welcome to a video orientation on using Laulima for your Hawaii Community College online classes. Laulima is the course management program used by the University of Hawaii. A Laulima course site is available for all courses you enroll in, not just online ones. However, it is up to your instructor if they will choose to use their Laulima site or not. Online courses may also choose to use Laulima alone or in combination with other online resources and sites. Today's topics will be divided into 4 sections. The first is getting started. In that section, you will learn about some of the recommendations on using Laulima and how to log in. The second session, called Finding Your Class Site, will show you the basic navigation around the Laulima program in general. So how do you find your class site to make sure you're in the right place? The third section is the Laulima tools. So once you're in your course site, what are you seeing and how do you use the different tools that your instructor has picked for you to use? And the last section is a tips and tricks section where I will go over a few things to hopefully make getting started in Laulima easier for you. So let's get started. In this first section, getting started, first let's talk about devices. So Laulima is an internet-based program, meaning you will need internet, and the higher speed connection, more reliable internet connection speed you have, the better it will be for your connection in Laulima. So you can use the internet through a laptop computer, a desktop computer, and to some extent mobile devices. Mobile devices in general will be able to access Laulima, and possibly you'll be able to read or see content, but it is not yet fully compatible with mobile devices, and therefore at this time we are not recommending you use mobile devices such as tablets or smartphones to complete and submit work. As far as your platform and browser is concerned, Laulima is recommending that you use Firefox as your internet browser. If you are using a Mac computer, you may use Safari, and we found that to be quite compatible. If you are using Internet Explorer, you may find issues, and therefore anytime you run into any kind of issues with your internet browser, meaning if things aren't looking or acting the way you expect them to, you're missing buttons, you're missing content, or any types of these behaviors, we recommend that you shut down your browser, switch to an alternate browser, and try again. So again, at this time, we recommend either Firefox if you're on a PC or Mac, or Safari if you're on a Mac, to use with Laulima. I'm now going to switch over to the internet to show you how to get to Laulima and how to log in. So I am currently using Firefox as my browser, and to get to Laulima there are a few ways. The recommended ways is either coming to the Hawaii CC homepage, and up near the top you will see a Laulima link, or by typing into the address bar laulima.hawaii.edu. Either one will take you to the login page, and you will use your UH username and password to log into Laulima. Again, your username and password are your UH username and passwords, the same credentials that you use to log into your MyUH or your email accounts. Now that I have logged in, I will be placed into what's called My Workspace. Along the top in this blue bar you will see tabs, and this white tab, My Workspace, indicates which site I'm in. In your My Workspace you will find updates and announcements, and these come from the UH system. So very important that if you notice you can't log in to Laulima for any extended period of time, come here and check the announcements, because sometimes they will update you if they know of any kind of issue. Along the right hand side you will see Message Center notifications, so it will list the courses that you are enrolled in and show you if you have any messages that have not been read yet. The calendar will show any dates or items your instructors have placed on their course calendars if they have chosen to use this tool. And it will aggregate, meaning it will show you all of the items from all of your courses. And the same thing here under recent announcements, you will see different announcements posted by instructors in all of your classes that you're enrolled in. So in a glance, you can see what's going on globally among your messages, your calendar, and your course announcements. Along the top again, you are in My Workspace, that's the white tab. And these other blue tabs indicate courses that you are enrolled in. Now by default, there are only a certain number of spaces or tabs that are allowed on that will show in this bar. So if you're not seeing a class that you're enrolled in, you may see a last tab called My Active Sites. And if you click on that, you notice there's a down arrow here. It will show you all the different courses or sites that you are a member of. Otherwise, you should see your course listed at the top. If you do not see your course listed on the top, email your instructor immediately. In order to go to a class site, you will find it in the tabs, whether it's one of the showing tabs or in your My Active Sites listing, and then simply click on the tab to go to the course site. Now that I'm in my course site, and I can tell that because this tab is now the white tab, I will be in the home page. Along the left-hand side of the course site, you will see the different tools. Now, instructors have the ability to customize their course and select their tools. So what you may see in your course may be different from what you see here. But in any case, all courses should have a home page. On the home page, you will see that it's sort of divided into sections or columns if you look vertically. So the left column all the way down here are the course tools. In the middle, you see a course message. And on the right side, it's divided up into recent announcements and messages and forum notifications. So first of all, looking at the course message area, this is where typically in your first week, your instructor will set up a welcome message and give you the particulars on how to get started in the course. Okay, what to do now that you found the course site to get started. On the right side, recent announcements shows you the most recent announcements that your instructor posted for your course. Now, instructors may set this up a little bit differently, so you may only see the title, in which you'll have to click on the title to see the full message, or you may see the entire message as you do now here. Underneath that is a messages and forms notification. So if you had any new email messages in the course site that have not been read, you may see a number. Right now there's none, but you may see a number, and you can click on that to enter into the messages tool. Moving back over here to the left-hand column, we're going to go now through the course tools that are in this course. These are probably the most common of the tools, but again, keep in mind that your instructor has the ability to customize this tool list. So the tools may be different, or they may just simply be in a different order. So we're currently in the home page. The next one is the syllabus tool. So clicking on that should open your course syllabus, which should outline, what are the rules for the course, how will the course be run, what kind of guidelines and policies the course has. So make sure that you read through the course syllabus and email your instructor immediately if you have any questions about that. The next tool is called modules. Modules is what sort of replaces your classroom in an online class. And so the course will be organized normally into weeks, although it could be by unit, but the sample course is organized by weeks. So each week is a new module. So within a module, it could just have one page or one topic. It could have multiple pages or multiple topics. So imagine this almost like chapters in a book. And so each module will open up on different dates. And all the way to the right, as modules become available, normally you will see this printer icon. And this typically means you can click on it, get a printer-friendly view of the module content and be able to print that out. So if you're the type that you like to be able to highlight and mark up a page and be able to read the content when you don't have internet access, then you'll want to make sure to use this feature to print out your module content. To enter into a module, you'll simply click into the module title, in this case week 1. It'll give you a short or a brief introduction into the module, and then it will tell you any of the sections within it. So in this particular module, there's only one section or one page. And remember, thinking of this as like chapters in a book, you will simply go to next to turn the page into the next section. So here we're in the copyright topic or page of the module, and so as you can see, this particular module has text-based content. There are some links to some other resources found on the internet. There may also be video that you can watch and so forth. As you come down to the bottom, that's normally where the activities will be for that particular content. So in this one, you can say, it says required, go to the assignments tool, open up this activity. It'll tell you when it's due and how many points it's worth and so forth. So this would replace your instructor's actual lecture that they would do in front of the class, as well as any assignments that your instructor would normally give you at the end of class. Okay, and again, modules, okay, if I go back to the table of content, can be one page, it can be multiple pages or multiple topics. And so it'll really depend on your course and your instructor. So once you get the hang of that, it shouldn't be that confusing anymore. Okay, the next topic or the next tool is discussion and private messages. And so this is where your course or your class will hold class discussions. So again, simulating the type of class discussions you would normally have when you go to the classroom and have a class discussion with your classmates, you will have your class discussions here in the discussion and private messages tool. So normally, whatever week it is that's happening, you will click in it. There's normally some instructions from your teacher. And so the teacher will talk about what the topic of the discussion will be, and then he or she will go ahead and tell you what is required for this particular activity. So instructions on that should be within your course. There's normally also a place called a student lounge where you can discuss non-course topic related things. So if you know of a great event or something that's coming up in the community that you want to let your classmates know about, you can use that student lounge area to discuss those types of things. And then typically there is a place, if you have general questions about the course, that you can post your questions, and if you have answers for your classmates, you can also help them out by posting responses to their questions. The assignments tool is typically where you will go and do worksheet based or submit assignments or essays and whatnot to your instructor. So this one here is called the scavenger hunt assignment, and once I click it open, you can see details about it, when it's due, how many points it's worth, with instructions. And sometimes you will have an attachment for an assignment. In this case, it is a worksheet that the students would need to fill out and then attach back in order to submit. So attachments, selecting a file or up to 5 files and then submitting it. Okay. Also with the assignments, you can see right on the home screen for it, you would have all the titles of your assignments. You would have the status, whether it's started, submitted, graded and returned to you. You would be able to see your grades posted right here, and then when it's become available and when it is due. Task tests and surveys is very similar. You will get a list of your tests. Anything that is ready or available to be taken will have a begin link. Okay, these other ones are closed. Okay, you can see they were in the past, but this one here is active. It tells you when it's due, what's the time limit, if any, how many attempts you have on it. Some of them, maybe your instructor gives you 2 chances and will keep the highest grade. Other times you'll have 1 chance. When you click begin, the test doesn't actually start yet. It will give you an instructions page with some customized instructions from your teacher. The test itself will give you some information about how it is set up. And once you click begin, that's when the timer will begin, and that's when the first question will be displayed on your screen. The grade book, okay, pretty self-explanatory. As assignments or as tests are assigned to you and made available, they will pop up in the grade book, and once they are graded, you will see that there. You will also should be able to see what your course grade at any given time. Right now everything is blank because nothing has been submitted. Once things are submitted, you would see your individual grades for your assignments as well as what your course grade were if class were to end on that particular day. Messages is like a private email that happens only within the course. So in order to compose a message, you would click on the compose message link. You can write to all students just by clicking student role, or all instructors by clicking instructor role. So if you have multiple instructors in your class, you can do that. Otherwise, all students and all instructors should be listed below, and then you can click you can also use your shift or your command clicked sequences to multiple select. Remember, this email or this message will stay within Laulima. In other words, students will need to log into the course in order to see those messages. However, if you click this box, it will also send a copy of the message out to the recipient's email address, so their hawaii.edu email address. Okay, and after that, it's simply writing an email. What is your subject? You write your message. You can also add attachments and send that out. And being that it's like email, you will have a copy of things that you have sent, things that you have deleted. You can also set up new folders if you want to organize your email. And within the settings for the messages tool, you can also choose to have all of your messages auto-forwarded out to an email of your choice. The only thing to keep in mind is when copies of messages are sent out to hawaii.edu or forwarded through this setting, you cannot respond by clicking reply in that second email address. Okay, so if it is forwarded out to your hawaii.edu email address, when it comes in, it's going to say it's from the postmaster. So if you click reply, it's going to go back to the postmaster and not the original writer of the email. In order to respond, you will need to log into Laulima. This is simply a notification so that you know that there's an email that needs to be attended to in Laulima. Laulima Help, this is an optional tool, so some of your teachers have opted to use it, but maybe not all of them just yet. This is a site that was created and maintained by one of the offices at Hawaii CC, and so we have general help for students for using Laulima. In it there is I believe like a 30-page how-to guide that's in PDF, but you can look at individual pieces. So if you forgot how something works, you can click on any of these topics to open up a print-based how-to section. One last tool was announcements. Now remember, in your home page there is the recent announcements. Okay, and right now it's showing announcements from the last 10 days. But what happens after those 10 days? Well, it disappears off of this front page because it's no longer considered recent in the eyes of Laulima. However, if there's any need for you to see those older announcements, we do have the announcements tool, which is the archive. So if there were any messages that are no longer showing on that home page, you should still be able to see them all listed here in the announcements tool. So consider that like the archive. Alright, so those are all of the tools in Laulima. Now, to end this orientation, I wanted to run through 3 tips, okay, or pieces of advice, because these are the 3 most common things that students run into difficulty with. The first is the mixed content security blocker. And I know that sounds very, very complicated. But in recent times, with all of the hacking that's going on and all of the internet security issues that exist nowadays, most of the browsers have instituted what's called a mixed content security blocker. So say in Firefox, like in Laulima, notice that the address starts with HTTPS. And consider that S security. So this is a secure site. Well, that means A secure site will only want to show or display secure content. So if your instructor wants to show content, say a YouTube video, which comes from a regular HTTP site, or other content coming from an HTTP site in our secure Laulima site, it causes that mixed security content issue. So for example, I'm going to take you into a different course site and I'm going to show you. In this particular module, the instructor said to watch this YouTube video. You notice that the space is white. There is no video showing. So in order to fix this, so in order to tell Laulima it's okay, show me the content anyway, notice up here in the address bar there is a shield. Click on the shield and it tells you that Firefox has blocked content that isn't secure. I can either keep on blocking, or using the arrow I can disable the protection on this page. Choosing that will reset the page. I can now go back in. The video is showing and can be played right here on the screen. Okay, now depending on what browser you're using, that shield or that option may be in a slightly different place, but that's the first thing you should look for if content is not showing, is look for some kind of security issue. The second thing is copy and pasting from Word. A lot of times you're going to have to compose responses. So say like your classroom discussion. So that week you have to post your thoughts on a video or content that you read in your textbook. You may want to create that response in Word, where you have spell check and word count and those types of things. However, we found that copying and pasting from Word into Laulima sometimes creates a jumble of characters that's not readable by anyone. And that has to do with copying from a program like Word into an internet or a web page like Laulima. And so Laulima has built in a tool in those text boxes to help you do this better. So for example, I'm going to go into discussion and private messages and I'm going to go ahead and post something. So here is the text box where I would typically write my response. So I'd have a subject for my response and I'd have my content. Well, say I want to bring something over from Word. Okay, so instead of just doing copy, Control C, or however you do your copy in Word, and coming into this text box and clicking on Control V or the right click, or however you do your paste, we're going to insert an extra series of steps right in between there. Alright, so I've already gone out to Word. I've created my content and I copied it. I did my Control C. Now that I'm back in discussion and private messages, and I will put my sample post here as my subject. When I click into the text box and I already have something copied, notice that I have 3 different clipboards. All of them are paste clipboards. A regular paste, paste as plain text, and paste from Word. I'm going to click on the clipboard that says paste from Word, the one with that little tiny blue W, and that opens a little box or window and it says please paste inside this following box using Control V. Okay, so I'm going to click in there. I'm going to press Control V to paste my content. I'm going to ignore these buttons. I'm going to just leave them as they are and I'm going to click OK. That will transfer all of the content from Word through that special filtering process and here into my window. Okay, and what you always want to do before you post is click the preview button to see what it will look like. So it shows me right here on top. This is my preview window here on the top. And now that it looks good, I can go ahead and click submit. That will ensure that I don't get a whole series of characters and symbols interspersed with my actual words and text. And sometimes it'll sneak up on you and you may not even know it's there unless you do the preview. But rule of thumb, if you're going to copy and paste from Word, use that W clipboard. And finally, I want to show you how you set up your avatar in discussion and private messages. So your avatar is a picture that shows up the left side of every single message that you post. Okay, now a couple of things to keep in mind. The avatar that you choose will be shown across all the messages that you post in discussion and private messages in all of your classes. So you cannot customize and say, I want this picture for this class, but that picture for that class. It's going to change them for all of your classes. Also, it changes all of your previous messages as well. So that you will always have only one picture throughout all of your courses. Okay, so here is where you set up your picture. So if your teacher says, please post your picture in discussion and private messages, they probably don't mean post it in the text of your message. They probably mean post it as your avatar so it shows to the left of all of your messages. And so to do this, come into the discussion and private messages tool, and along the top you're going to see one link that says My Profile. Now you can give any of this information you want, your location, your occupation, your personal signature if you want, but keep in mind that this will be publicly viewable to everyone in the course. So you may not want to give your Facebook or your Twitter or whatever accounts information. Okay, or maybe you do, that's up to you. But all the way at the bottom is the avatar control panel. So you need to have a picture already set up on your computer, and you will browse your computer to find it, and then you will select it. So I'm going to browse my computer right now. I found my picture. I'm going to click open, and I'm going to click submit. It shows me what my picture is, and so now when I go back into my post, there is my picture, and that's going to be shown in all of my posts in all of my classes in this discussion and private messages tool. All right, so I hope you found these tips helpful, and in fact I hope that you have found the video orientation for Laulima to be helpful. If you have any questions about Laulima, there are several places that you can go after this orientation video. The first is, if your class uses the Laulima help tool, that's one great place to get help in using Laulima. There is a generic help button that you can click here that will give you some information. It may not have information for all of the tools, but that is a secondary place that you can try to get help. And if not, at the bottom of any Laulima page, you will see a link called Request Assistance. Clicking on that will open up an email form that you can fill out your information and then write down what is question or what are you having problems with and submit it. That email will go to the System Laulima support group, and they will be able to help you and answer your questions. They will send any responses back to your hawaii.edu email account. I also recommend that you fill out one of these forms anytime you have a hiccup with an assignment or a test, especially if you get bumped off the internet during a time test, or if the test doesn't open or doesn't function properly, or any type of technical issue like that. That way, submitting this requesting assistance link will get the issue logged in the system, and they will help provide you with information that you may need to give to your instructor when you write to them saying what happened with your test, or why it wasn't submitted, or why it wasn't completed, and so forth. Alright, so that's it for the video orientation for Laulima. Again, I hope you found it helpful, and I wish you well in your semester and with your courses. Aloha.